Hello, my name is Francisco Pereira. I'm a 2020 Cohort Climb Academy graduate as a full stack developer. Uh, some of my hobbies include I'm a gearhead and I have basically built this car from the frame up. I've done some motor restorations and electrical wiring, stuff like that. I am into 3D modeling and embedded systems design. So this center picture on the left here is a model I made for a Raspberry Pi and a screen with a little battery, so I could carry it all as one case, be a little portable prototyping station for me. On the left in the center is a power supply that I built for my lab. So it's I designed all of the panels for it, 3D printed it off my 3D printer, put it all together, wired it up. I'm also into FPV drone racing, so I have this little white drone on the bottom left there to fly around, and it's just a generic drone racing picture to show the action there. I went to Emmett O'Brien Technical High School for my high school, and I learned the in-depth theory of electronics theory. I learned analog and digital, analog for my first 2 years, digital for my second 2 years. Here, as in these pictures, you see that I have built, this is my senior project. I built a digital tachometer without any actual programming. This is all logic gates and flip-flops and timers and everything linked together to create this digital circuit without having actually any actual software. From this high school, I became a certified electronics technician, which out of high school sent me over to Sikorsky Aircraft. I was electromechanical technician for their CNC machineries, which helped build all the Black Hawk helicopters you see there on the left. While doing this, I was always more inclined to trying to get into the user interface / software side of the CNC machines when repairing them. I would try any kind of weird bugs that we would see or anything like that. I would get in and go through the command prompt and different files and registries aside of the software to try to correct these issues and make the machine work again. I was also in the Navy. That's this picture on the bottom. I was a avionics technician for F-18 fighter jets, working on their avionic systems and weapon systems. I did, again, it was a lot of working with the user interfaces for the weapon systems, trying to figure out which software keys weren't working correctly to trigger the testing mechanisms for the weapons and scenarios like that. While I was in the Navy, I was constantly trying to learn how to become a better coder. I've always wanted to be. While I was in Kuwait, I had a couple of bits and pieces that I brought on deployment with me. So I put together this little countdown timer to tease one of my shipmates. Didn't really like when we talked about being free from deployment. So I made this little countdown timer and I hung it up in his rack just to tease him a little bit. I still wanted to get more and more in depth in coding. So when I got out of the Navy, I became a electronics engineer. I work for a company called Performance Filmworks. You see here on the left, we build gyro-stabilized camera systems. So we have this stabilized crane and stabilized camera head at the end of this Mercedes here. I've done some embedded coding for them for interfacing with the inertial navigation unit that's inside of that head to be able to keep us at a perfect horizon on the image all the time. We won't lose level no matter what we're doing with the head for panning and tilting. While I was working at Performance Filmworks, I was also a full-time student at University of Phoenix. There I went for my bachelor's in IT with a concentration on software development. So I learned a lot of Java, CSS, HTML, MySQL from there. I still wanted to learn more about coding, so I joined Claim Academy, and they've helped me out with the Java, CSS, HTML, JSPs, and the more full stack, linking everything together. While I was at Performance Filmworks and going on different film sets, I started to kind of see the inspiration for my capstone project, which was when I was on the film set, I would see 90% of the freelance workers were not from the same place. They were all scattered throughout the country. They kind of all just came together. They weren't the same company or anything like that. Not everybody had the same information, so there was many different communication gaps, and the different production companies and everything like that from set to set, it just causes kind of a lot of issues there. My solution for it is a software or a website that I call EPrep. And what EPrep is, okay. What EPrep is a communication tool for all the film sets that will allow to everybody basically to have all of this information in the same place. So you could have a new user come in and register.
Hey Francisco, I don't think I can see the whole screen. I just can see localhost, register, and Zoom, but nothing below or above it.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me try this one. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Yep, that's good.
Okay. Do you want me to start that over? So you come in here and you can sign up for registration. So Frankie per at Gmail. Set up a password. And it's going to take you to your landing page here. So you could go and you could add an image. What is going on here? You could go and you could add an image. So you go to your profile page, change your images to whichever you need, update your contact information here. And you're in here, you're going to have, if anybody decides to message you, you're going to have a message pop up in here. On your dashboard, you're going to have all your different jobs. So you'll have your available jobs here. The current available jobs will be Spider-Man. It's going to be on October 30th here. You could add jobs if you need to. I'm going to do Batman DC. It's going to start the 29th, and it'll, for our filming, it's going to end December 2nd, and it's going to be stage, film, extra cameras. For my different job description, job notes, just so you know, can kind of keep everything in one place. Here you'll also choose your different crane operators and technicians on that site. You go back to your jobs here, and there you go. You have your Batman is in DC. It's going to start on the 29th. It's going to end December 2nd. You could also go in and you could add different work orders for your different reports. For your crane operators, drivers, and technicians, everything like that. They have their different reports that they could go to. Equipment, if you want to view your equipment, here you're going to see all the list of different inventory that we have. and in the future your locations and everything like that. You can view your different employees, go in and change their roles so that they have different access points. And you could also, or I'm sorry, you could change their permissions so that they have different access points, and then their roles, if they're a package driver, position driver, crane operator, whatever it may be right here. So this basically allows a company to keep everything together, and if multiple companies tie into this same website, then they could communicate with each other more smoothly. So that was my solution for EPrep. These are the technologies I used. I used Spring Boot, Java, EE, Eclipse, Hibernate, Tomcat, and MySQL. Those were all my backend. Maven was for dependencies, also with GitHub to back up and redundancy for all of the programs there, or the software. I used Postman to test my back end before connecting it with the front end, and then HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, JSPs, and Bootstrap were all used for the front end to create the different pages and different components on the page. Thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions for me.